Hello and welcome to episode number 18 of the Side Quests podcast. You're here with your host, Ben.
And your other host, Oliver.
And in this episode, we are going to be talking about events and more specifically around hosting events because, Ollie, you have an event coming up in a few weeks' time that the tickets have just gone on sale for.
Right, yeah.
So this is a shameless plug of an episode to get your event promoted a little bit. But also we want to kind of talk about the realities of kind of running events, what makes a good event, and some of the behind the scenes stuff that you may not think about if you're going to an event as a participant. You know, as a TO, there is a lot that goes on behind the scenes. So we're going to... both of us have got experience in hosting events. Obviously, you've got yours coming up, Ollie. I've run an event, a smallish event previously on my own, but I've also co-hosted quite a few in the past. So between us, we've got quite a bit of experience in this field. Would you agree?
I think so. Yeah. I've got, I do different smaller events at the shop as well. So kind of more introductory style ones, as well as the big ITC, WTC, 40K, mega, major, grand, golden ticket, competitive one. So yeah, and say you've kind of done stuff in between. So it's an interesting topic, and I'm obviously in the midst of it now. Yeah, I think there's a lot to think about. And also, if you're thinking about running your own tournaments, even on a smaller scale with your mates or larger ones, maybe you might find a thing or two useful here as well, right?
Yes, definitely. So, as we always do, shall we kick off by going through what we've been up to over the last week? When did we last record? Was that last Friday? It was last Friday. Yeah. We're recording this on a Thursday night. I'm off to a tournament actually this weekend, so we can't record on a Friday night this week. So we're recording a little bit earlier than normal. So yeah, what have you been up to since last Friday? Anything much?
So last Friday we had Callum on, didn't we?
We did, yeah. That was a great episode. If you haven't listened to that, please go back and listen to it. Callum was a great guest to have on. Loads of experience and knowledge around painting, and just an all-round lovely guy, wasn't he?
I think he could have taken either of our jobs in this situation. He could either replace me or you. Or probably both of us and just does his own podcast.
Totally. When my second child arrives and I have to disappear for a few weeks, we'll just get him back on as a co-host for you.
We'll just get to wear a hat and that, and grow a beard and just be you.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think he sounds a bit like you, to be honest.
He does. Somebody said that in one of the comments that it was very difficult as somebody who just listens on Spotify. It was difficult to tell whether it was me or Callum talking. So he could easily fill in for me.
Yeah, and me. And there you go. We're both replaceable.
And he's more handsome than both of us as well. So
yeah, bastard. And he's a better painter too. So
and younger.
Actually, he's not coming back. Fuck him. Get rid of him. Yeah.
He's just got
Callum,
everything.
If you're listening, get out of it.
He's got everything going for him.
And no kids.
And no kids, yet. Yeah. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, he was a great guest to have on. So thank you, Callum, for coming on. Make sure that you go back and listen to that one if you haven't listened to it already. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot of banter in that one as well. So if you kind of like us taking the piss out of each other a little bit, there was a good bit of that going on in it. So yeah, what have you been up to over the last week or so?
Where were we last Friday? So I worked the shop. Oh, I see what I've been doing. I have filmed another video. What? I filmed the Broadsword Wargaming Pile of Shame 3.0 with Kira. And I've done two over the last couple of years. I do every couple of years, right? You got to have a little look through, mainly because I was organising the back of the shop anyway. So it's like, well, get all the toys out upstairs in the studio and see what's there. And I didn't think it would be as bad as it was. What's happened? Basically, Kira's like, I sold loads of Kira stuff. So she was there. She's like, oh. I was like, is anything missing? She goes, no. I was like, well, I literally sold half your stuff. But she didn't notice that. But I've been left a lot on my own. And like Horus Heresy's been coming out. Old World's been released. There's a lot of stuff that's come out in the last year where it's just been me on my own going, oh, just have one of them. I just have one of them.
So with your shop then, do you look at the stuff on the shelf and just go, I'll just have one of them and just put it to one side? Or does it like go through the till, or like how do you work it? Like,
oh, that's the tax man shall never know. No, it's no.
Revealing all your secrets here.
All my scams.
Yeah. Oh, that's written off.
Good damage. Fell down the stairs. If I drop it and kick it down the stairs, it's damaged stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, like, when stuff goes up for pre-order, if I really want it when it goes for pre-order, it's going to be really popular. Like, there's the matter of like, how much do I actually want this against like, obviously it's going to sell. So like it's hard to go, oh, I'll take one when I've only got 10 of them or something, and 9, and they all sell. I'm like it feels like I'm taking more than just the box, because I'm taking the box plus its cost plus the profit, right? So I always feel pretty guilty, but occasionally things don't sell as well as I'd like. So like something like the Empire battalions, I've maybe got 1 or 2 spare. I'm like, oh, I like that. I'll do a video on that. So I take the box, look at the stuff, and then just leave it, right? And I'm like, oh, I haven't got time now. Do you remember my big plan to do like all the Empire color schemes or something? That never happened.
Yeah, I know. You talked about that for a while. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And I was like, I'm sure you've got other things to prioritize rather than that at the moment.
That'd be an easy video. It's only painting 20 guys. But then I'm like, oh, it's just no. So, and then Kira's like, I'm not doing that. I was like, okay, well then that's not happening.
Yeah, well, yeah. Unless she's joining in, there's it's difficult.
She's like, oh, I hate like old world. I hate square bases, and even more than that, I hate it when it's just men. I was like,
yeah,
okay. So I do really want to get to do a bolt action video actually, because it's all the things she hates.
Historical men, green and brown colours,
boring men with shit guns. Do you know what I mean? So I want to make her do it because I think it'd be funny, but she would never. Anyway, so the pile of shames happened, and then I've been working. I made a start on a big project.
Did you work out how much your pile of shame was worth? Was it not even worth going there?
I didn't even I didn't go through everything because it was too much. I had 40 minutes or something cut down. I had 40 minutes of footage of me literally going, here's the box. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, what's this? Oh, here you go. Here's another army. And it's awful. I didn't even go through all my old stuff. Kira's like, oh, she's like, what's all these boxes? Oh, that's like, Warhammer Fantasy 4th edition. That's Warhammer 40k 2nd edition. She's like, what's in that then? I was like, oh, there's some cardboard house and some plastic screws. She's like, that's really shit though. How much you pay for that? I'm like, 120 quid. She's like, what? I was like, well, how much you pay for all those? And she's like, how much do you pay for your old stuff? I was like, €1,000. She's like, oh, that's not bad. Knowing full well there's a full box full of like 9 different armies. I've got one of every model. It's not €1,000. That was a lie.
No, that's way more than that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, but some of it I swapped for. She's like, that's pretty good. She's like, at least they're finished in the box. I'm like, oh, zoom camera.
So those of you that are watching, Ollie's got a new webcam that when he does like hand motions, it kind of zooms in. So sometimes he'll be doing something with his hands and it'll just like randomly zoom in. I can't remember what you were doing earlier, but you went like, and it just zoomed in right on your face, doing like the most horrendous looking.
Yeah, awful. And my happenings podcast, Kira's got this new cameras. They're cool, but like I haven't worked them out yet. I like to gesticulate, right?
Hands go up and like,
yeah. So I did the pile of shame. Made a start on a massive project. I had someone in on a trial shift for employees. That was exciting.
Are you talking about the giant project yet, or is that like hush hush?
It's hush hush. Are you doing anything for it? No. I bet you can do as much for this giant project as I can for that headshot I owe you. No. I'll. Well, how long has that been going on for? That was like a year or something.
It's only a year or so. No, this will be done.
How many times I said to you, I get it for you today, mate?
Yeah, I know it's fine.
You're always like, don't worry about it, and I'm like, okay. Then.
Yeah, I should. But should I just put pressure on you? Should I just say
don't give me an out,
Ollie? I need it yesterday.
Yes, don't give me an out because you're like, don't worry about it. Next time, I'm like, okay.
So just forget. So just go back to the big super secret project. If I were involved in it, I will get it done because
I know you will because you're a good person.
I've delivered on all of my collabs and everything so far. I
have delivered.
You've broken the back of most of them.
I've delivered on all of them except this headshot. But I've delivered on everything else. One was a little bit late. Yeah, that's fine. That wasn't the latest, so that's all that matters.
Exactly. Yeah. I have got time planned, booked out where I'm not painting anything else for it. So it's
all good. Yeah, so that's exciting. So super secret project. It's a bit daunting because
it's ambitious.
It's the most ambitious thing I've done, and I failed to do like 10 videos in a year. So, this sort of 8 video series sounds ambitious, but maybe it'll get done. We'll see. So
I have faith in you. I think you will, because I think if you don't do it, you'll kick yourself for it.
And I think the support's there, and also I feel like I owe a few people to have to do it. Also,
yes,
so it will. It'll happen. It might kill me. I think it might kill me, but I'll do it. So that's exciting anyway. And
you'll get it done.
What else has been happening? Usual kids. I had no sleep yesterday because of the baby, so that was fun for all you Dad Hammer listeners out there. We had a disastrous attempt at sleep training a baby. We thought we'll do the thing where you pick him up and put him down, and he falls asleep nicely on his own. that was a lie, which is awful. And he got more and more upset, and he was just screaming. And I was like, okay, so that was like 3 hours to get him to sleep. So that was good fun. So other than that, that's it. I think.
All I'd say, and I know it's easy to say, but imagine in a week's time where you can just sleep through and he just self-soothes.
Oh God, it seems unimaginable.
It does, doesn't it? All you need to do is just be consistent.
I'm going to be the one who breaks, though. I don't like hearing him.
I know exactly. You probably will be. Yeah.
Kira's like you get over it, and I'm like, but my baby boy.
I can't deal with the crying.
He needs his dada.
Yeah, exactly. I see. I didn't think I would be, but I'm like quite the tough one. It's like, no, we are leaving him. We are leaving him for now. Not all night, but like, you kind of, we're going to wait 5 minutes. Wait 5 minutes before we go in.
We'd make a perfect couple then.
Yeah, we would, wouldn't we? I'd be the one like dragging back into bed, saying, "No, get back in bed.
Get into bed.
Give it 5 minutes.
5 minutes is all you need in bed, man. That's all. We need
exactly.
Right, what have you been up to?
Need. What have I been up to? I have finished, because I've got this tournament coming up this weekend. I have finished painting some models for it. So this month, I kind of got a little bit not lax. I missed a few days because kiddo was playing up at night and things like that. So I kind of missed a few days of like hobbying every day. But I picked it back up over the last few weeks, and I managed to paint 25 orcs over the last few weeks, which is just like it's about half of what I probably need in terms of orcs and things. But I needed about another 12 for this army that I'm taking. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get like a whole like box worth painted, and I needed a few more spears, so there's a few more kind of like converted models and stuff. So yeah, I got them all painted, and then to a couple of the heroes that I'm taking, I had them painted previously, but I just kind of, because they've been painted a long time ago, like the standard just isn't where I'm at now. But a few weeks ago, I think I might have mentioned it on the podcast, but I like just looked at a couple of models and I was just like, right, do you know what? I'm gonna just repaint like bits of them. Like I painted Gandalf the White, or repainted Gandalf the White, and like repainted his face and things like that. It's made it look like a brand new model. And so I've just kind of touched up a couple of the models that I painted previously, and they just look so much better. They look like they've been kind of like recently painted by me, and they just kind of match more the rest of the army now, which is
good.
Really good.
Brilliant.
Without kind of spending, because I think in my mind I was like, oh, I'll strip them and like repaint them. You don't need to. Like they look fine. So yeah, I've been doing that. So yeah, I've kind of finished off these 24 orcs. I only need 12 of them for the tournament, but I thought I may as well get a whole big batch of them done. And yeah, so I need to pack my army this evening, and then tomorrow I am working and then heading down to Bristol.
It's only Bristol, isn't it? Yeah, that's the event I couldn't make it to, but that's okay.
It is indeed, but it's all good. It's all good. I'm taking an evil army now, so.
You also painted up all the Rohan dudes anyway, right? So you kind of got all them done just for lols.
But that's the thing, like, but I needed to get them done anyway, and it was just like a really good excuse to get them done. I still need to get the foot dudes done, and that was the plan for this month. But obviously, I think, was it about 3 weeks ago? I think you said probably not going to be able to come.
Yeah.
So I just kind of changed my plans a little bit and said, right, I'm just gonna get all these orcs done now. So I'm chuffed with them.
Yeah, you've been really chipping away like every day, right? You've been doing your bit.
Yeah,
most days,
just a little bit every day, and it works. It really does work. I would, if I had to sit down and do like sort of like, I don't know, 2 12-hour slogs or something like that. It was never going to happen. Do you know what I mean? I'll never find 12 hours in a day to paint again. Do you know what I mean?
One of those 24-hour challenges.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, definitely. I don't think I'll ever do one of those again. But I can just sit here and do like, a couple of hours maybe of an evening, or if I've only got half an hour or something, easy enough to just kind of do half an hour. So yeah, I've chipped away at them, and yeah, I've got 24 painted, which is
good.
My productivity for this year is what, 35 models and some repainted stuff. So which is probably more than I painted
last year.
Yeah, well, maybe not quite all of last year, but yeah, not far off. But we're only 2 months in, so
yeah. That's excellent, man. Well done.
So yeah, I'm chuffed with that. I'm really happy with that. And then what else have I done? That's pretty much it. That's all that's taken up my time, really.
You got baby prep, and then you're about there, aren't you?
Baby prep, yeah, and then that's pretty much it. And then obviously from next month, working on something for super
something
secret
else.
project.
Super secret. Super secret 60-second project. How many S's can I get in there? What have sibilance? Super secret 60-second sexy space.
I don't even know what you're on about. Oh, I tell you what we did last weekend. We went to this is completely nothing to do with this. We went to like a dinosaur show at the local theatre, and they had like big. Oh, they weren't animatronic. There was like clearly actors in like big suits and stuff. But it was amazing, and the little one absolutely loved it, and I loved it as well. And there was other kids around there because he's only two and a bit. And there's other kids there that they're probably a little bit older. They're absolutely terrified of these dinosaurs, but he's obsessed with dinosaurs, and he just sat there and he watched it. And I've not seen him glued to anything quite as much as that, and he absolutely loved it. Yeah, it was amazing. It was, I can't remember what it's called, like Dinosaur Storm something or other. But yeah, it was so good in Stockport Plaza. I don't know if it's like on like a regular thing or what, but yeah, it was really, really good. Highly recommend it if you're in the Stockport area. Which I'm sure, I'm sure not many of our listeners are, but if you do happen to be around the local area, want to go to a dinosaur show, it was well worth it.
There you go, well reviewed, well recommended.
Yeah, very good. Exactly. Well, so that was good.
We've had very different weeks, I think, haven't we? Well, that's the idea, isn't it? Very different weeks. What else have you got to do?
And then you've been kind of prepping for your tournament. I think you mentioned it. Was it last week or the week before that you mentioned it? Yeah,
that's it. So the tickets went live on this Sunday, at 12 o'clock, middle of the day. So historically, I've been doing it at a venue called the Ellison Hotel. We've done six tournaments before, which that kind of capped out at about 60 players. I could squeeze 64 in, but I never tried it because it was like, it just would have been too tight or something. Do you know what I mean? So I had 60 players, 30 tables with good space everywhere, right? Two next to each other, but they're 6x4. There's lots of room. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone had good space. No one was like, like at Warhammer World when we played that doubles. Literally, I was like sat on the next door neighbour's lap. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That was
it's a bit tight, isn't it?
It was a bit tight, yeah. Like all these like 4 players around each 4x4, like packed next door to each other. That was busy. So
yeah.
I wanted to try and give, like, years ago there weren't many events in Ireland, so I wanted to try and do like Ireland's like top event, right? We had all the, do you remember the old like polystyrene cubes that the UKTC did that time and stuff and all that, like, right? I was like,
the polystyrene pyramids.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. So I invested a lot initially in like good tables and terrain, and I keep updating it all. And so I've tried to make like this premier event. So the hotel was lovely. It was really nice. You haven't been, have you? It was like really nice hotel, really good venue, like clean, nice, lots of air conditioning and heating and all the things you want really for a nice weekend away. It's different to like, some venues are kind of in a sports hall, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a different event feel to that. Right? Obviously, you could do that, and that's you have a lot of space. So they're normally cheaper. I can get a sport hall a lot cheaper than get a hotel. But so for the last 3 events, it's sold out within like the hour, right? Within under an hour, all 60 tickets just go, and I'm like, okay. I said to myself, if it goes again, I'll just increase it and try and find a new venue. Now it's taken me ages, and this is part of what we're going to talk about actually. It's what goes into running an event, and it's taken me.
Before we go into kind of full detail about this,
I'm ready.
Yeah, I know you're ready. You're getting ahead of yourself. Should we? Have we got any sponsors this week so we can kind of like give ourselves a good plugging here?
Good pegging, right? Sponsors.
I said week. Plugging, not pegging.
Whatever you do is up to you, man. So. No, I got an email from a company actually called Broadsword Wargaming, and they said they'd love to sponsor the stream because they think the hosts are just awesome. And
really? Did they name me specifically?
No, the other one they liked actually.
Oh right, okay.
They said the hosts are both all right, but one of them's better than the other one.
Right, okay.
And they said they like the one that lives in Ireland. So I think that's me.
All right, okay.
So they said, yeah, we really want to sponsor that guy, and we don't want the other guy to get any money anyway, so don't worry about it.
Right, okay.
So company called Broadsword Wargaming, like you might be like staff or something at Broadsword Wargaming.
Oh right, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You might have a T-shirt.
Yeah, I did, by the way, put the last one as sponsored video because it's technically kind of is. So tell us more.
Imagine getting reported for sponsoring yourself. So if you're in in Ireland in particular, they're a company based in the Republic of Ireland in County Mayo. They ship all sorts of stuff. They have Warhammer, all your paints, all your usual hobby goodies, card stuff. They have board games. Anything you could want, they pretty much have it there. And if they don't, you can always drop an email to info@broadswordwargaming.com, and they'll normally try and find one for you for whatever you're after. So they're just awesome. They've sponsored us before a few times now, I think.
I think so, yeah. And I hear that postage around Europe is very reasonably priced as well.
Yeah.
Is it something? Is it about €8 to
That's
Germany?
right.
By any
I think
chance?
it's about €8 to Germany. The Zone 1 shipping rates, so like Germany, Austria, France. Yeah, so very affordable. A great all round guy. Who runs the shop. He has a baby as well, so
that needs supporting. Yeah,
his baby loves beans, so it's fine. But one day he's going to outgrow eating beans,
and he'll want steak.
He wants steak and fish. And do you know what he does eat? Actually, the baby, he fucking loves fruit. And do you know how expensive buying raspberries and blueberries?
Yeah,
you do know
blueberries and strawberries, and man, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Do you know what? Whoever makes fruit has like a total grasp on the industry, because they know who's buying blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries. People with kids. They go, and
the kids do anything else.
Yeah, all they do is sit and want blueberries popping in his mouth, right? So so they go, we'll charge €10 for 50 grams of blueberries. That's fair.
Is that how much they are over there, or are you being like?
So I can get a pack of 3 things for €10 from one shop. They only ever have 2 in. So you can never get the 3 for 10 deal anyway. So it's like $4.50 for some blueberries and stuff. It's mental. So I probably spend at least €10 a day on fruit. So Broadsword Wargaming, he needs the money. So
So go and buy Broadsword Wargaming stuff.
Just for those who don't know, that is me.
So you are sponsoring stuff. And also, if you kind of want to support us, there are a couple of ways that you can support us. We are 50 subscribers away from that magic 1,000, and once we get to that 1,000, this channel does become monetized, so it means that we are actually making a little bit of it,
it'll be no money, but
rather than making a loss on it every month as we are at the moment. So it would be nice to kind of even break even on it, but if you want to support us any further than that, then we do have a Patreon where you can shape what we do in upcoming episodes. You can suggest topics for future episodes. You can ask us questions. You can, when we have guests on, you can ask them questions as well, as we did last week with Callum. But yeah, any support that you can offer us is massively appreciated. We do enjoy.
And I know generally, right, the viewership here, we're getting more than 1,000 views an episode. So if you're listening to this and you aren't subscribed, stop being a bastard and hit that subscribe button, right? We had 3,000 in that other episode.
We did.
That's 2,000 people that aren't subscribed who are listening. So subscribe to us now. And even if you never listen to us again, just leave us unsubscribe. Thanks so much.
Just subscribe. Just subscribe.
Just do that. And if you're listening on another platform, leave us a review or whatever. Follow. I don't even know what you do on those on Amazon, but do that thing as well. Whatever you can do, because it all helps us, right? And it makes us feel good.
It does. Ourselves. It does. But we just appreciate every single one of you listening as well. It is massively appreciated.
I appreciate 99%.
99%. Why? What's the 1% of them?
I don't know. Just leave people guessing. Maybe it's them.
Oh right. Yeah.
You've got to be mysterious, haven't you?
You do, yeah. But
so
leave them wanting more. So maybe that 1% now will be thinking, oh, maybe I should subscribe, or maybe I should join the Patreon, or
they'll be going, am I the 1%? So then they join the Patreon and go, excuse me, am I the 1%? And I'll say, no, you're not.
No, you're not. Clearly not.
Yeah, you have to be controversial these days.
You do. That's
why I hate 1% of my subscribers. Let's do that video.
Yes, we'll do that one next week, shall we?
Yeah, think about the titles, man.
Yeah,
Get that rage bait in.
Can we talk about next week's guest?
Yes, we probably can. Yeah, that's locked in. I think there's 2 guests actually next week.
We've got 2 guests. Should we talk about what? Should we keep them dangling for the next one, for the one after?
Yeah. Let's. We've got a really good guest. Right?
A really good guest.
We've got a guest and a really good guest.
Yeah.
I know the normal guest listens, so sorry, Joe. But basically, my brother's over next week, and we've been playing Warhammer 4 together for over 30 years now. So we're going to talk a little bit about Warhammer stuff over the ages, right? Which I think our viewership here, a lot of you are getting on a bit now.
Little bit older. Well, you're kind of in our demographic. When we look at the stats, we can see how old you all are.
Yeah, you're old bastards.
You're all roughly the same age as us. I think. As soon as it's under 25s, it is 2% of our listeners are under 25, and it's literally 25 to 39 is our listener bracket, which is just. Or maybe even a little bit older.
44, I think it is.
25 to 44. That's it. 25 to 44. is the vast majority of our listeners.
Do you know what's depressing? We're past the halfway point as well, our ages now.
Exactly.
We're getting towards the top end.
Exactly. Do you think our demographic will keep shifting?
As we get older?
Yeah, and it'll just be like, one day we'll just be like, oh, our demographic is 55 to 75.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I used to play Warhammer in 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there are people out there as well. But I'm hoping what happens is all people, new dads find us talking about Dad Hammer in 10 years' time. And then we're still going. And they say, oh, how are you finding it now? And I say, I've hated the last decade of my life. Good luck to having a child.
I won't be alive then, so it'll be fine.
If stress and aneurysm doesn't get you, the diabetes will.
Yeah.
I'm going to go from a stress or lack of sleep or stress-induced aneurysm. That's how I'm going.
I think stress-induced. Yeah, I think stress will be yours. Yeah, diabetes will be mine. Yeah, we'll both be lucky to see another 10 years. We shouldn't really. Is that really depressing that we talk about stuff like that?
Is Warhammer's going to kill me? Warhammer's slowly killing me. So yes. Anyway, what we talk about? Oh, yes. So
anyway, events. Just think.
Press subscribe.
Yeah.
Now, literally right now. Pause the video and hit subscribe now. 3, 2, 1, hit.
So if you press subscribe now, it will reduce your stress and it will make my diabetes slightly better.
Yeah. It needs his diabetes meds.
Exactly.
Subscribe for meds. Right, I don't know what we're talking about. Right, it's late. Okay. Right,
anyway, it is getting late. We're getting delirious. What are we, like half an hour in and we've
done nothing.
Talked absolute bollocks so far, but absolutely nothing.
And we also have no real substance or topic. So enjoy the next 10 minutes and we're over.
Yeah. Anyway, right, let's jump straight into it. Where did I interrupt you earlier? What were you saying about the venue?
I was hyping up slowly and getting there to building up to the crescendo of how amazing my event's going to be, but you interrupted it by making me sponsor myself.
Start again.
Right. So back in 1992, when I first bought my 6L miniatures from Games Workshop Peterborough, I had this dream of running my own event in 2025 in Castlebar, the west of Ireland, where I'd never been, nor never heard of, nor anyone lives anywhere near. And I figured, why don't I move to the west of Ireland and try and run the biggest events 3.5 hours away from Dublin, where everybody lives? So that's what I've attempted to do. And if you want to fly internationally, if you want to fly internationally, you can fly into Knock, but only from about 8 airports around Europe. Otherwise, you have to fly into Dublin and get a train for 3.5 hours, and then get a taxi for 10 minutes. So come to my event.
There are flights, but and there are flights from plenty of airports. They're just at really inconvenient times.
Yeah, if you want to fly to Knock from East Midlands, you do it for a tenner, but you have to leave at 4 a.m. No, right.
every third Wednesday.
Yeah, actually it is. Yeah, they go, we fly back today? Nah, leave them.
The plane's not full enough, so we're just going to hang around.
No one wants to fly back.
But there are flights. There are flights from Manchester for the weekend.
Liverpool, Manchester, Luton, Stansted, Birmingham, Bristol.
So
East
if
Midlands.
you are in the UK, so the vast majority of our listeners, we know, are in the UK as well. So obviously our US listeners, you won't be able to, probably wouldn't be able to attend. It might be a bit cost prohibitive to attend, but it would be lovely if you did go across. But yeah, for those in the UK, you could potentially get over quite conveniently. I've flown. When did I fly over? Well, when I came over to see you, it was pretty convenient. Like I think the flights were at like 7 a.m. something like that from Manchester. Flew out on the Friday, back on the Monday morning, I think it was. So
and it's like 15 quid a flight or something. It's less than an hour.
It was really cheap, especially if you go, hand luggage and things. It is quite easy to get to. I know you were joking about it.
No, it is. But like I before I lived here, I used to fly every other week out here. I was like long distance for a while, and yeah, you can get a flight. I think the cheapest I ever got was €16 return, and it used to cost me more money. I lived in Nottingham. It used to cost me more money to get to the Nottingham airport than it did
a taxi. Yeah,
or just park my car in the parking ride and get on the bus. It was £11 each way or something. It used to cost me more money to like get to the airport than it did to get to Ireland, and would take just as long. So.
Crazy.
It is a really easy flight. And we have had plenty of people fly over from England. We have a couple of people who came. In fact, the last guy who won it flew over from England. He flew in Friday night and flew back Sunday evening, and he just won it and left before the awards. He's like, I'll have that that trophy. See you later. And won it and never came back. No, that was last year. So I've had like a few of my patrons stuff have come over as well. My brothers have been over. It is. I think to people it sounds daunting, like flying to Ireland. But
Yeah.
it's honestly like, if you
It's
go with
dead
Ryanair,
convenient.
it's like, it's a 45-minute or an hour flight that I get annoyed if it's more than 20 quid. Right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh, that's a rip off. When
Yeah.
obviously that's mental. So yeah, and I only live about half an hour away from from the airport here as well. So it's
Yeah,
really easy.
it's
There's
not,
buses from the airport. There's a taxi. Well, hell, I'll even pick you up. Don't hold me to that. But yeah, so it's really easy. So anyway, what I'm trying to do is increase the size, right? So we moved venues. This is our first time at Brafey House Resort Hotel, and it is about 6 minutes outside of town. So where the Edison was in the centre. But the problem we have here is there's only like, when you're trying to move an event that size, there's only so many places that can host that. Do you know what I mean? Like, where does that realistically go? Either a sports hall, and even then, there's only like 2 here, or a big hotel. So a lot of the places that you might think might do it, you'd be surprised at how much room you need for like 64 6x4 tables, right? Plus, like, that's just massive.
Plus, also you need the infrastructure at the venue as well to be able to host it. So you need tables, chairs, stuff like that. And in a sports hall, generally they're probably not going to have enough tables to accommodate that sort of event.
You'd be playing on table tennis top tables. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
with
exactly. And you'd need like a net down the middle. But you would need some sort, either table hire or something like that. So that depending on obviously the size of the event, but generally, it's finding a venue for an event is tough. It's
been really tough. It's been like, I wanted to move last event, and that was in November, and so it's taken me about 6 months to find a venue. Now I ended up coming down to 2. One was like a better location, but I think the Ellison Hotel, we kind of got a nice reputation of being like a nice, clean, lovely venue, and the other one I feel was probably maybe a step down in the sense of like how it was. Do you know what I mean? Wasn't as like quite as nice. So where I'm at now is a step up, but the counter side is it's not in the centre of town. But it's literally like, there's shuttle buses. It's a 10 quid taxi. It's cost you a couple of quid. Do you know what I mean? It's not, isn't that bad. And you can stay there. They've got a lot more rooms. It also has like a spa, a tennis court, like a leisure centre, gyms, includes breakfast. Do you know what I mean? It's got a bar in the room. It's lovely. It has like everything you need, like you're saying about the infrastructure you need around an event. You need like toilet access, right? When you've got 128 people plus guests or whatever in a sports hall, that's one busy toilet.
It is, yeah. And then is there food and stuff? Is there food and stuff there? Like, obviously
food and drinks. Yeah,
they're geared up for having that number of guests. Like,
it's a wedding venue essentially.
Yeah,
right?
but a sports hall isn't going to be generally. They might have. I don't know. I don't know what sports halls sell these days, but
badminton rackets.
But swimming goggles.
They do as well. And crisps, a vending machine with crisps in.
Yeah,
those little ones that look like trumpets. It has those in. They were nice. Those.
But I have no idea what you're on about. But
I don't know either. So yes, so finding a venue is really hard.
Yeah. The one of the biggest event that I've been involved with is Ardcon. You've heard of
but I know
Ardcon? But it's a big Middle Earth event in Manchester, and it's held at the Mercure Hotel in Manchester, which I think has got a similar sort of feel to what you've gone for. But again, like, I don't think I'm overstepping the mark here and saying, obviously the James, the organizer, has looked at alternative venues in the past, and it's very difficult to find something that is within budget without kind of pushing the ticket prices up to a ridiculous level. You've got somewhere that has got food available, that has got hotel access kind of nearby, has got plenty of tables to be able to do that sort of size event. Now, don't get me wrong, smaller events you don't need quite as much infrastructure to do it, but obviously as soon as you go above, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 tables,
I'd say when it's like 40 players, it jumps up a gear, right?
Yeah, exactly, and it just becomes a whole another beast, doesn't it?
And that's it. I feel like moving again. Everything else, everything I have been doing has to adapt and move on as well. So previously I could manage kind of the get in and the get out with myself and a bit of help, and I could kind of TO that, and that was difficult because by the time I got 60 players, game 4, people are starting to want to win or whatever. Like you end up doing more and more and more, and you can't be everywhere at once. So I say 60 really is a lot to be TOing on your own, because you can't be everywhere. So at 128, I have to have staff now. I need help now. I can't do that get in and get out on my own. I can't be in 6 tables at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Then when you start wanting to stream and do all these other things, like it's all another beast now. It's less like me doing an event. It's more like an events team at this point, but it's just me still. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's really hard. So like even that, having like a venue where they have staff there, they have porters, right, at the hotel. So when it comes to doing the get in, they'll all help set all the actual physical tables. There's 128 6x2 tables. Like, all need to come out. Like, that's a lot to do on my own and space it all out. So they do that. And they're an events organization place as well. So they have other things they can do to help me. But all of that comes at a cost. And for me, it was either, you know, a lesser, what I felt was a step down venue in town, which wasn't as good, or one that's slightly less convenient for those who don't drive, out of town, but is better. And so that was all I had. I had a choice of 3 places. So
so, you know, it sounds like you've kind of done a grand job of finding somebody that can kind of, you know, there's always going to be those sort of sacrifices and things, but, you know, it sounds like you've made the right decision for the event. As well.
I think so. And, you know, we've passed the 50 ticket mark already now, which is great. And I've got a few, can't confirm yet, but got a few other like YouTuber, Instagrammy buddies and stuff coming over from England as well, which I think would be nice for us because it kind of steps it up again.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, it's exciting, but it's incredibly scary. And also like I have to invest in another 30 tables of mats and terrain, right? That's like,
so that was going to be my next point in terms of, you know, the infrastructure. Like there's a lot of stuff that you would need to provide as well. So, you know, how many tables did you say you're going to have? 60 odd tables, 64 tables. That's 64 mats. Now, how much does a mat cost? For like 40, 50 euros? Maybe
so if I was just to buy it as a, you know, like whatever, just a person, it would be like 60, 70, 80 euros. Obviously I'm a shop and I can then say, hey, look, here's an event, and try and have a sponsorship and stuff like that. It might cost you 40 or something. Yeah,
but you know, 40 euros, but across 64 tables, it's
that's
very,
$2.5
very
grand a match. Right?
Yeah, it very, very quickly adds up. But then also you need to have the terrain to go on all those tables as well. So
80 to 100 quid, 40, 60, 80, whichever what it is. So I've tried to get like, rather than just having shit terrain or one thing, whatever, I've tried to get like a variety of all the different, so we're not going there just playing on the same thing 5 times. I want to have like a nice, so I spent a lot of time and, to be fair, a lot of money on terrain.
So is it going to be like an ITC sort of setup then in terms of like terrain and things, or do you have something different down on like maybe some of the bottom tables where it's not going to be quite so competitive? Or
no, see, I personally would love like player place sort of narrative style terrain, right? Just like 2 hills, 2 sets of trees, a couple of ruins and whatever, right? And then you come and you go, you and your mate, you know, you stand there and you go, oh yeah, I'll have a hill, you have a hill, sure, a couple of rivers in the middle, like, but you just can't do that anymore, really, in a tournament scene, because I feel like player place terrain, there's only really 4 styles of terrain you can run in an event, I think. Player place terrain, WTC, which is its own like format of this mission has this terrain, etc., etc. UKTC, I think it's called, which is again the same thing. You know, this map has 4 of these and 3 of these. Or Games Workshop. That's to be fair, are the only real options. Or a completely narrative based one where you know you have a spaceship, ship, and whatever. And they're all very different things. For what I'm doing, like these days, like competitive, you know, I will do the little
You kind of need, the people come into an event expecting consistency, aren't they? Like, they kind of know what to.
Yeah, they want to know, right, to practice or to play on, or, you know, you have to be clear what things are, right? So everybody has the same thing. We all know what that building and that bit of rubble does, and that, rather than like, oh, I've got some trees, but is that counting as whatever? Do you know what I mean? That just goes at this point. So I picked what I felt years ago was the best setup for how I wanted to do it, because there was more variety in the terrain sets I could buy. Whereas like UKTC or whatever, there's only really one, the TT Combat one. I just don't want to buy 60 tables of that, because that would be depressing.
Just
so
boring.
I went WTC, because there's like 10 different ones now. And more. There's more every year. So kind of great. Although UKTC and that are doing the same now. But yes, it's like ITC, which is like the scoring system. So, you know, you come to this and you'll get a ranking place. But we're also Ireland's only, and have been for the 3rd year in a row, golden ticket event. So Games Workshop go, you can have the golden ticket, and the winner, or whoever I decide to give it out, gets an invitation to the big thing in Atlanta, the Games Workshop Warhammer Fest thing. So actually the first year, Colin, the winner, or maybe he's second and got passed down. Either way, the ticket goes to first and gets passed down basically until someone takes it. So Colin went and took Eldar actually out there and did pretty well. We had a good few weeks. Last year the guy was going to go but couldn't in the end. So this year again we've got one. So yeah, it's nice to have that. So what am I talking about? I don't even know. Tickets, money. Yeah. No.
So we were talking about kind of terrain, and again, like this is again, you know, my experience, the small events that I have kind of run myself, you know, I've taken a lot of terrain that I've either made or printed and painted it myself. There was some that the venue had, but I wanted something that was kind of like themed to what we were doing.
Yeah.
And then Ardacon, there is the Australian Middle Earth community. I don't think we have that many people from Australia listening, but they were like they seem to be really proud of their terrain for some reason. Even though some of them, I'm going to throw some shade here. So, some of the tables that I've seen aren't that amazing that they go on about it. But the thing is, when you've got a big event, you need to store that terrain, and having big cumbersome boards where there is loads of like bits and it's really delicate and it's going to be difficult to store is just not practical for a big event. If you've got 10 tables, then do you know what? Yeah, you can do that. That's not a problem. However, when you're trying to accommodate 200 and something people, I think Ardacon 204 people, I think Ardacon's geared up for. It's a massive beast. So you need to have terrain that is relatively easy to store, that will last, that isn't going to get broken in transit, that isn't going to take up basically a garage full of space. It's got to be something that's so there's a lot of kind of repeated terrain. So there's like some of the Asclepius ruins which kind of stack fairly neatly into each other. There is like the lake. Do you know the Lake Town houses? Like fairly generic looking houses. What else is there?
Loads of houses, probably Gondor stuff, whatever.
There's not much of that because I think that all the terrain was kind of purchased before like all the new Gondor ruins and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a lot of that. And then last year I did, I think maybe 5 or 6 tables worth of of printed stuff that I kind of took along and things as well. But again, that doesn't even touch the sides. When you kind of talking that many tables really. So I've been 3D printing a few bits kind of on and off just to kind of help fill tables out for this year. But again, it goes back to the cost of filling those tables is massive. That there's I don't know that many people that would have expendable cash to be able to fill that many tables in kind of one
Definitely
go. Do you know what I mean?
Like I've grown with it, but my initial outlay was 32 tables.
Yeah.
And then I was a smaller event. The shop was smaller. I paid more for things then. Now I did a video sort of showcasing lots of things to to try and get a subsidy a little bit to some of that. But yeah, I'd say I've only just probably broken even on all the terrain and mats, and now I'm going to double it again. So see you. I think
with all the terrain and things as well, you've got to paint that. You've got to build it. You've got to paint it.
The cheaper sets are MDF, but how bad it is. Each table is 10 sets of ruins, 3-story and 2 stories with 10 rectangles. You printed some for me years ago. It took all that time. We printed like half a board. Printing it yourself is just not really an option unless you have.
It's like, and that's just print terrain. Like it takes so long to print stuff.
It takes you more than a week to do a table for sure.
Yeah.
And that's with no, and then even then it's like 2 rolls of filament is like 70 quid, or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
it kind of adds up, sort of thing. So yeah, it's difficult. I remember this is going back. Oh, this is pre-COVID now, maybe 2018, 2019. We got given a load of the Asclepius ruins and the Citadel trees, and literally we just spent a day just clipping out all the bits off the spruce, and literally my arm was aching because I'd clipped so much, like clipper arm, and we built and assembled so much stuff. And I was just in all my forearm and everything was like in absolute agony from it. Because there was just so many sprues. And like Lockie's Sprue Mountain, it was like that. I wish I was doing YouTube at the time, because that would have made an amazing video just because of the amount of sprues.
Trees,
loads of the Citadel trees, loads of the Asclepius ruins. I
could do with a few of those trees. Nick a few at the next one, will you?
Yeah. But yeah, so terrain is such a huge part of it. And people are very quick to criticise events for terrain and things. Like, don't get me wrong, that London GT one from that's going back a while now, is it? That's 6 or 7 years now, isn't it? That was awful, and I'm sure they had the best intentions to have great terrain there and stuff, but clearly it didn't happen. But it's so easy for people to criticise terrain as well, without kind of thinking about the practicalities of
Yes,
of what's gone into it, the cost involved, the painting, the hobby time that's taken, but also the storage of it. Like, where's it going to go when it's not in use? Do you know what I mean? And it might be, how often do you run tournaments? Is it annually?
Twice a year.
Twice a year. It's going to have to sit somewhere for 6 months of the year.
I have 20. I currently have about 18 or something massive plastic, easy, what do you call them, boxes?
Yeah,
massive, just sat out back along with whatever 30, 40 mats. And they just sit there twice a year. Now, I have like a garage shed space, but it's wet, right?
Yeah.
I can't just leave it. It just get ruined. The first time I did it, I left a load of stuff and it just literally I wrecked like.
Yeah, and the thing is, MDF stuff, when it gets damaged, when it gets wet, it doesn't
warps and it goes moldy.
Does it?
You'd be surprised. I left the 3D printed stuff out and it got sun bleached and all curled up, all the bottoms curled up.
Oh no!
Yeah, so like, over the years, and I've had to learn, and I've spent like probably $1,000 on bloody plastic boxes. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's worth it if you think there's whatever it is there, and in the long run, so it stops it getting damaged. But then you start getting damaged pieces, and so what I have actually managed to do is like get sets, and then as I'm recycling and renewing, I can at the events I can sell for lesser cost some of the older sets off, and then the clubs now around Ireland, I've literally given them all terrain.
Inundated with terrain.
Yeah, and then also sometimes they bring them to me and they go, "Oh, do you need a couple more tables?" Yeah, bring them up. So there you go. I get to use them anyway. But it's helped them. I do a good deal for the clubs. I give extra tables now because it's nice to support the clubs around the place.
Of course it is.
It's I do feel personally like when I want to go to an event, I want good terrain and good tables and good quality stuff. Right, I don't get to play very many. Like we've only played one in the last 3 years or something. And like I don't get to play often, so I want nice looking armies, like we said before, and I want a nice table. And like, yes, I'd love because I like to do it, all the nice like sculpted tables, but realistically, mats are the only way to do it. So there's your mat.
Like the sculpted tables. I always not have a beer in my bonnet about sculpted tables and stuff like that. They look great, but for A, storage, and B, replayability, like they just don't have it really. A mat or
modularity,
modularity. Just otherwise you just end up, you use the same choke points. You use the terrain in exactly the same way over and over and over again. So a sculpted board looks amazing and it's great for like a one-off game, but it just doesn't have that replayability. I'd prefer something more modular. Using a mat with terrain on it for me is far better, and especially for things like tournaments, it's just way more practical.
I just got a mat bag, which I can take 30 of them in my car, or 60
exactly.
in my car. I can only take one 8x4 each time or something. So there's that. So like terrain, finding the venue, and then also, do you know what? I never realized, and it still sometimes surprises me now, how much actual like back end admin goes into running an event, right? So first off, you need to have your tournament pack, right?
Yeah.
And that might sound easy. Oh, just nick whoever's and then adjust it. Never works that way because your event's always different to someone else's, right? So my target audience is different to whatever else, and I don't want to. I like to think I've managed to sort of start up with a very welcoming, kind of more friendly, less competitive aspect of a tournament. Like everyone there is having a good time more than like there to win the event. Now, that's not to say the tournament pack appeals to both, but as the events have gone on, things have happened in events where I've gone, I never had that like accounted for in the pack, so I have to do some sort of ruling now. But people, do you know what I mean? There was no clarity on that particular thing. Because it never happened. I just didn't expect it to happen. So my tournament pack has gotten larger and larger with more and more like particulars.
Things that you've kind of come across and you're like, do you know what? I need to kind of, I need to have some sort of ruling in for that for next year. Weird so that it doesn't happen. And do you know what? Sometimes it's such a niche thing, but you have to put it in just to kind of make sure that you're covering your own back,
cover your bases.
Really.
Even stuff about like table draws and redraws and what happens if like an opponent doesn't turn up or whatever, and you've started the round and they don't. Do you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. And like you can play some of that. I like to think I'm a pretty lenient judge when needed to be, but I'd say it's only really been 3 or 4 like hard things I'd say I've had to do. But like being a TO is no good. It's no good enough. Like it's not easy, not no good. It's like it's a difficult job. So. There's so much, but man, getting the tournament packs ready, then like now I want to try and widen my next event out to people in sort of England. And so I've done like a venue pack, right? Which is like, if you want to fly to an airport, fly to here, here's good flights, here's a bus you can get from here, here's a taxi you can get, this is the bus route, this is the train route, this is where it's at, here's some recommended accommodation. And that list grows as well because more people go, I'm staying at wherever, I've never heard of it. Okay, bang, on the list it goes. So now I've got this like list of like relatively extensive list of all the hotels and some B&Bs. Just try and make things as easy as possible for people. So, but then even then it's like, right, okay, now the tournament pack. Okay, we need army lists in via best coast pairing because that's how we do it. That's what is used. So can you all get your army list in by Tuesday at 11:59? Wednesday morning, 10 people have put an army list in. Have
to chase those people.
So,
and then do you have to physically check the lists then? Or
yeah. So the list needs checking. So, fortunately, I've got a good group of people. Like when the lists go live, everyone kind of checks all the lists, and they'll go, "Oh, I found something in this list. Found something in this list." Now, I will sit and do that, but I don't know enough about everything to catch all the little things.
And that's the thing. Like you when you're doing list checks, it's a very manual process, isn't it? And don't get me wrong, there will be probably stuff that gets missed accidentally because
absolutely,
you can't literally sit there with a book and check every single list because you'd be
every
there for
codex, every army, every add-on, every war gear, every link.
You'd be there for days, so you're kind of reliant on your players being truthful with it. Now you can kind of cast your eye over it and make sure that it looks roughly there or thereabouts. But otherwise, it's just a thankless, impossible task.
I tend to catch like formatting sometimes can be off. So like the list isn't very, they've used whatever. But now, fortunately, we do have like the Warhammer app, which is now good. And we have, what do you call it? Battlescribe, right? So people can download an extra list from there.
I used to hate for Middle Earth. Battlescribe is just god awful. It
doesn't work, does it?
It's awful, and there's a few people that kind of really advocate for it. So it just doesn't work. There's a new one for Middle Earth called Tabletop Admiral, and if you want to use that, man, it is so good. And they're just adding more and more functionality to it all the time. I've given them a bit of a shout out here because I think it's probably one of the best like free resources that I've seen for list building in any game that I've ever played. It is so good. So Tabletop Admiral, go and check them out. Every list is on there, and they keep it kind of updated. As I say, they're adding more and more functionality and things to it as well, which is just great. So yeah, go and check that out.
That's Lord of the Rings specific, is it?
Yes, I think they do it for Star Wars Legion as well. I think that's where it started, but then they've expanded into Middle Earth. I'm sure they will eventually expand into other systems as well. But
good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I tend to look at the Warhammer app, the Age of Sigmar app, and Battlescribe, right? Yeah. And the Warhammer app, let's be fair, used to be kind of awful. Now, since they redid it all with Leviathan and stuff, and the Age of Sigmar one, I think they're both very good. You can see everything there. Yes, you have to have the codex for the codes, fine. But they're just very good now. Like list building, I quite enjoyed sitting. You know what I mean? Like it's like a toilet thing. You're on the toilet, like I'll just build a Sigmar list.
Yeah, well, that's what I do with like in bed sometimes. It's like, I'll be thinking about something. I was like, what if I did a list for this? And I'd just like whip out Tabletop Admiral. Do you know what I mean? It's so handy just to have it there rather than being like having to go through the books and things. And before this, we were just talking about like my god awful math skills. Like, for me, adding up, the points values of 10 orcs with different war gear and stuff. Like, literally, I'll go to bits because my math skills are absolutely atrocious. But having like an app that basically does it for you is amazing.
Yeah. Idiot proof, exactly. Like I just make lists like whatever Thunder Dump. And that's like where I've done it, where like Bogs of War or whatever, right? So I just like making list building because it's fun. So they've made the process of list checking and stuff a lot easier because they obviously themselves have inherent issues as well, but generally they're pretty good. So most people use those now. So that's getting a little easier. So, but list checking, and then like not even that, then you've got to hound them. And you've got to like then when there's so many people, I have to like try and find the email. Like not everyone's registered, right? So I might be missing 3 people. So then I've got to go right. Which 3 people am I missing? And then you have to sit and pair up all the names, and then people use a different email to the registration. That process kills me because it's just like a week, and then you get people questioning, but I've got this army model or whatever, and then I have to just find weird rulings or people using like proxies. Like, is this okay? And I'm like, yes. Well, do you know what I mean? Like,
so, what's your take in your tournaments just on proxy models and stuff? Then what's your?
I'm fine with it. I think like we are WYSIWYG, but lenient a little. The main thing I'm after is clarity, right? If you're playing your opponent and you say, okay, here's a unit, they're all equipped with flamers, but they're all melters. Fine, I can remember that. But if you go, I've got this unit with las guns and they've got 2 flamers, and this one's got that, and it's got a plasma gun, but that plasma gun is actually a flamer. And then when you're playing someone, that dies, and they go, oh no, that was the plasma gun. Oh, but it's a las cannon. Yeah, but no, but that's a bolt gun. Like, what the hell is happening? Like, that can't happen. So if people are doing stuff like that with weapons and stuff, I say, look, it's kind of all or nothing at this point. Like no mixing double weird stuff, and you've got. Do you know what I mean? Just that. No.
It's got to be 100% clear to your opponent. Like, again, looking at stuff like now, Spear, just for Mordor Orcs, like one of these guys, they can't have a shield and a spear.
Yeah.
It won't focus in on him.
No, it loves your face too much.
I converted some of these before the rules came out, and I put shields on them. Now I will obviously just say anyone that's got a spear on them, they've got a spear, but they haven't got a shield. It's just it'll be clear to whoever I'm playing against that that they've not got a shield, because
I think that's the way of it, right?
So just make sure it's 100% clear to your opponent, really.
I like 3D printing. It obviously becomes more and more prevalent now. I am a shop, so there is a little like 3D printing obviously can impact shops and stuff, but it's part of the world these days. So I'm fine with that. What I don't like, particularly is with like Games Workshop, not sponsored, but Games Workshop Golden Ticket event, is the only thing I don't really like is like 3D printed copies of intercessors, right, or whatever, because that like. But if you've got that, we've got lovely Grey Knight's armor that comes down, lots of 3D printed stuff, 3D printed legs, 3D printed. That's fine, right? Proxies even, I'm using something from a different game, but as long as it's on the right base size and it's a similar height and it's clear what it is, that's fine. I have played a lot of Blood Bowl historically, and there are a lot of like non-GW Blood Bowl teams, right? Because Blood Bowl was dropped.
Yeah, there are, yeah.
But man, sometimes I've played against a few teams. It's like, oh, this is my Blood Bowl bunny team or whatever, and it's awesome. But I have no idea what the fuck anything is, right? Like, oh, that big bunny with the pointy up ears is a blitzer. Those ones with the floppy ears is this. The one with the big toe is I'm like, oh, and they're not all clearly marked, and they're all got different skill rings on and stuff. I find that an absolute nightmare.
We talked about that sort of thing in the cheating episode, didn't we? Like, essentially, I almost think that you're doing it. So some people will be doing it for advantage, I think. Making it deliberately ambiguous things. I'm
difficult.
I'm not a fan of that, I must admit.
Because it also means I have to do is every turn I go, right, which one's
the
one
again?
with the pointy ear again? Oh, he's a Amazonian whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then what's that one there then? Right, and he's the one with frenzy. No, that was one with frenzy because he's got the big elbow. Oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, geez, and it's already a complicated enough game that but like playing chess. But instead of all the pieces being what they are, you just made them other stuff. I'd be like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? I have no idea what I'm doing anymore. So I don't really like that. So mainly, I've actually never had to say no to any ever, and I've never taken a model off the table to date. So that's always something to look out for. So yeah, but even that, and then you've got like the list chasing and all that. So there's so much. I feel like we're being really negative, but I'm just trying to be sort of realistic.
It's realistic about kind of what's
involved. Then the weekend itself is a fucking killer, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It is,
it's like,
So
Jesus.
Our Ardicon starts on the
3 days, isn't it? Or
it's 5 day, I think it is now. So it starts on the Wednesday. So literally on like the Monday, Tuesday, like there's the setup of the venue, and like literally it's getting all the terrain there. And I've helped a couple of years. I've the last couple of years I've not really because of children and stuff like that. It's been kind of difficult to be able to get away for more than a day at a time, sort of thing. It's been a little bit difficult. I did help out a little bit more this year because I was between jobs at the time, so I was like, I've got nothing better to do, so I'll go and help out for a good few days. But yeah, kind of getting all the stuff to the venue, then literally getting thankfully the hotel set up the tables, but then kind of putting everything out on the tables, making sure that you've got an even spread of terrain across all the tables. That's an absolute killer. And then you've got the same then pretty much on the way out with it, and packing up almost. There's that excitement pre-event, but then kind of once you've been a TO for the 2 days or 3 days or 5 days or whatever it is, man, you are exhausted.
I need like Monday, Tuesday just to like recover, but I don't get that now. But like the last event, I think was it the one before? Something anyway. I ended up normally I get a bit of help, but I actually didn't really have much help for various reasons. So I was packing down, and I only had my car. Something like 6 chips, right? Loading up my car.
I remember you saying, I
think the 6 chip was like 10 p.m. on the Sunday. I'm not gonna lie. I think I was like on the verge of just crying and I just can't.
The thing is, when you've got an event and when you've got that many people, like kind of relying on it, you just have to get it done. Like there is no not getting it done. It has to happen. Do you know what I mean? One way or another. And that's kind of like how you see it throughout the event as well. There's. The event has to go on. We like a couple of years. There's been like fire alarms and stuff like that. It's like, right, well, we need to try and catch up time at some point so that you can get all the games in and things, and you've got to start. For me, one of the cardinal rules of running an event is making sure that the rounds start on time.
Yes, and that's something I'm always very strict on, right? Because if you let 10 minutes go here, it slips and you're 2 hours late.
I think, and that's the thing. Like, how many games do you have a day? 3, 4 games?
3 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday.
Yeah. So, but if they kind of slip by 10 minutes or something, like all of a sudden, like you're half an hour later finishing or whatever, and that's just every single game. So you have to just keep on time. You have to keep reminding people how much time's left on the clock. You have to tell people when to put dice down. You've got to tell people, that their
scores in,
what scores are in. It's one of those. Do you use Longshanks?
No, what's Longshanks?
The scoring software and things where people put their scores.
Oh no, we use Best Coast Pairing.
Oh right, okay, yeah. So same it's a similar sort of thing. For Middle Earth, Longshanks seems to be like the go-to one. But yeah, again, like sort of chase. Ardicon uses a program called Tourney, which was developed by a friend of mine called Andrew Cox. But you kind of reliant on your players inputting their scores and inputting them incorrectly, because what you'll get is you'll put up the next draw and somebody will say, but I won my last game, so why have I gone down a table? And you're like, did you put your scoring in correctly? And then they'll say, oh no, I put it in the wrong way around, and I put my score where my opponent's score should have been. And then you've got like, I've got to go back and change it and things. But again, like the onus should be on the players to get that.
And that,
right.
That is in my rules pack, right? Like if like, it's up to both players to put the scores in correctly. Normally I'm there going, right, is everything good? Yeah. And like if the next round is halfway through, or and they go, wait, I lost it. Why am I playing? Like I can't be responsible. You have to take some ownership for yourself. What has happened a few times for me is like after game 1 we have the lunch break, right? Yeah. So game 1, most people put the scores in. I normally has to hassle a few tables or whatever, right? And like you say, you got to keep it on time. Make sure people get their breaks, whatever. So I always start on time. I don't mind a little bit if some people play a little bit into their first lunch break or the last game 3, because it's fine.
You're not going anywhere.
I can be slightly lenient, although really my package should be 3 hours, but whatever. That's okay. If it's like lower end tables, people are just chilling and having fun, I don't really care if you take 20 minutes extra 8 o'clock, because it's only you that affects. But when it's others, but what I've had before is people go on lunch break and they just disappear. I can't find them and their score's not in. Do you know what I mean? What am I meant to do then?
You can't then do the draw for the next round.
So what am I meant to do then? Like wait for them, phone them up, email them, Discord them, whatever. Really, it should just be 0-0 then. You both lose. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what the rule pack says. But you feel harsh doing that though, don't you? Do you know what I mean? But you do.
The thing is, if it's impacting on the rest of the event and it means that you can't draw the next round until those are in, you can't.
I've got 126 people, and 2 people have buggered up.
Wait, yeah. Exactly.
Right?
So you've got to, and I think those players should understand that. And I think again that's kind of a little bit of naivety from some players, is that they don't understand the impact that the things that they are doing or not doing have on the rest of the event. So yeah, that's another thing.
And definitely starting and finishing rounds. So for me, like round 1, round 3 can overgo a little bit. Round 4 counts as into lunch break, but round 5 is a hard.
You've got to finish.
Because I've got to finish event on time. People have got buses, trains, flights, whatever.
Exactly.
Has to be done.
Exactly.
Has to be finished at 4:20. I got 10 minutes, 50 minutes to tot stuff up. I do the awards at 4:30 to 4:45. There's a train at like 5:30 that leads to Dublin. Do you know what I mean? Like that
people have to be done. On it. Yeah.
So I will force the scores in myself if I have to then.
I get it.
And that's that, and people are like, might get a little bit like, I might win. I'm like, that's kind of on you. The chess clocks are there as an option, whatever. So I don't like having to make hard decisions as a TO, where like someone's going to be disappointed and someone's not, but you have to do it. When there's a disagreement and 2 people are complete opposite end and no one's giving ground, there's normally a rule in place for that. And I've had to do rulings where I don't really like it.
Yeah.
Particularly one I've had to do, that one that sticks to mind, where I thought it was like bad sportsmanship, but by the book he wasn't wrong.
Was right, yeah. It's always those are always going to be the most difficult ones, aren't they?
Yeah, I didn't like awarding bad sportsmanship, but
yeah, as a sort of a TO, the term TO kind of gets banded around. It's kind of like a bit of a jack of all, not a jack of all trades, but like it kind of covers all your bases. Now, obviously, TO, we've talked about kind of the run up to it, but also you've got the reffing side of it. How do you find that? How do you have any issues with it at all?
So I'll be totally honest. I don't know all of the weird interactions that happen in Warhammer 40k, right? I just don't know. don't play enough myself. Yes, I understand all the basic rulings. And I'd say a majority of questions I get, it is literally, okay, come over to the table. What's the situation? What are you trying to do? Right, let's read the rule. Oh, the rule says during the opponent's fight phase. Is it the opponent's fight phase? No. Well, you can't do it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And a lot of the time, it's just clarity on stuff like that.
Yeah.
The ones that catch you out is like, oh, I've got to towel something with the bodyguard rule, but this Eldar model has this, and it's an infiltrator. Do you know what I mean? Weird shit that I just don't know. So I'm very
that doesn't really come up that often.
It never comes up unless it's a weird interaction between two stratagems at the same time or something. But there's normally always an answer for that. There is an answer for everything. So I'm very fortunate that I have some of the sort of Team Ireland, WTC kind of players who I can normally go to and say, hey, they're kind of like player refs, really, unofficially. And as long as it's not their own game, do you know what I mean? I say, look, hey, what's the ruling? And they'll go, oh, it's this. And one of the lads, Pierce, he's wonderful. He kind of knows the rule book. He's like, do you know what? It's on page 81. Hold on. There you go. Bang. That's the rule. Done. And in all honesty, the top tables very, very rarely require any rulings because they all know what they're doing. They all play 40k enough. The bottom tables, you know, they don't know all the interactions, but they care a little bit less. Do you know what I mean? So it's game for, like I've said before, table 4 to 10, where people are 1-3 rounds and they're really trying to win now, right? Because they can.
Yeah.
And so then things can get a little bit itchy because people are. It's natural human nature to want to win, right? And sometimes people forget what they're doing, and the sportsmanship can go out the window a little bit. But I've never had any bad things. I've had 3 or 4 rulings where I've had to make a ruling on something, and you can only make the best decision you can at the time.
And that's the thing.
One or two I feel I've made wrong now, but you know, at the time that's how it felt.
Totally. In the last Ardacon, I ruled something, and in hindsight, it was incorrect ruling. However, you know, at the time, it was my best judgment on what it. And the thing is, otherwise, you know, the game is just going to stall and stop at that point, you know, without kind of making a decision. And as long as both players are playing it kind of equally going forward, then it's fine. And again, that was like, it was a really weird interaction. I can't even remember what it was now, but it's something to do with the bears and how they're
big cheaty bullshit bears.
The big cheaty bullshit bears that I was really excited about, and then they were too good, so then I kind of shelved them because
can't play them anymore.
Because I didn't want to look like a beardy bastard playing
2
them.
bears and all those bows. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. Never played that
exactly.
before.
Yeah, you know, everybody with 2 attacks and strength 5,
Strength 4 bows or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So they were just hideous to play against. But yeah, basically, it, you know, I got a call wrong on that one. Did it affect the rest of the game? Realistically, probably not. You know, it was like a one-off interaction, but you know, when you've got these kind of weird interactions and different things kind of impacting on in different ways, it's impossible to legislate for every single possible interaction in the game.
And you have to take account of the situation. That's the kind of thing I did on one of them. Do you know what I mean? Like, you are putting yourself in the position of confrontation, right? Really, you know, because you've got 2 people who don't know each other, who are playing the same game, but they know different things and they do things differently, and how they might play against someone else will be very different. Do you know what I mean? And then there becomes like a standard as well. So people, you know, might be the better players might be expected to play in a different way. And I've said that people go, look, like, you know, it's not a ruling by me, but they go, right, you know, we're both good players. Let's be honest. Do you want to play like a competitive game, or like a fun one? And a fun one being like, we'll let a few things go, and if you forget that, sure, we'll go back and do it. Or do you want the game where it's like, right, we're going to practice the WTC. If you fuck up, that is your fault, right? And if you skip to something or you've forgotten it, it's gone, because that's how you would play that, and you know that. So that has happened, and that's not on me. That's up to 2 people, and people who are playing WTC events want to practice that, and they make a mistake, it's on them. They won't make it again. So I don't have to do stuff like that, but people do that, and that's except like myself. I'm happy just to doss around the 2-3 mark and just have a beer. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I can get like 50% win rate or something,
exactly,
2-3, 3-2, whatever, take a list I enjoy. That's kind of a bit of fun, that my opponents can have a good time. And other people, everyone's got a different reason for going. Most just want to have a good time. And a good time can be a different thing for different people.
Exactly.
So you definitely have to be able to make a decision on the spot. But you're standing there in front of 2 people, right? It's not just you online going, oh, this is the rule. It's literally looking at 2 people who are both kind of a bit annoyed or whatever with each other, and then one is going to be annoyed at you for making the ruling against them.
And they expect the resolution there and then. Do you know what I mean? It's not something that can...
You haven't got a minute to go, right, give me a minute. You have to just go like, A is right.
Yeah.
So
I think
difficult.
ultimately, like, if you have those interactions, like, it's not as though it's that one interaction is going to change the out. It's very rare that one interaction is going to change the outcome of the entire game.
No, and normally when that's happening, it's because someone is losing, and they want to find an edge to win, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Normally, the player who's losing is going like, "Oh, but it should do this," and the other guy's like, "It just doesn't." So they're looking for an out to try and help their game.
Yeah.
So, and then you rule against that, and then they lose, right? But if you rule for it, it might level the game a little bit. I think the one ruling I'm thinking of that I had to make had no impact on the game. The guy actually who I ruled against had already lost. I just didn't like it, but whatever. Do you know what I mean?
There's
a few times I've had to stand around the table because people feel like the other person's moving too quickly or rolling too fast, or they've done a mistake. And people are happy to talk about things themselves, but when the third time they've done it, they go, right, look, I've said this like 3 times now. You keep doing it. So
occasionally we get kind of like slow play. We in Ardacon there was accusations of match fixing. There was a few kind of bits like that. That's happened where it's kind of had to be. I think there was 2 people that had agreed to a draw and things. There was somebody who, I think they put pressure on their opponent to concede a game, which was kind of like, there was like a big announcement after that game and said like, you will never, if you are caught putting pressure on your opponent to concede the game, you'll be asked to, you'll be taken out of the tournament, sort of thing. It was, there was quite a strict approach to it. But yeah, it's, you've got to have those rules in place.
And it's difficult. It's not a job I think anybody can do, right? Because you have to be strong enough to accept whatever and to make rulings. And, ultimately you're responsible for the event and for the majority of people's fun. The odd time there might be a rule in the rule pack that will affect a couple of people that don't like it, but I'm looking after 100 people, not 2, right? So, and you have to just keep the game going, keep it smooth. And I like to think most people appreciate it. At the end, they might be annoyed at the time, but half an hour later when they've had a beer and they go, look,
actually, it was a tough call, and at the end of the day, I lost the game.
Always going to have one unhappy player out of the 2.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So I like to think that, but it's hard because I'm just a human. I feel like they might take it personally then and be like, right, Oliver's a prick, he ruled that against me.
Ruled it against me, sort of thing. But it's not. You're not doing it intentionally to do it against them. But
no, but it's just hard because people can be a stressful situation, and there are lots of different types of people who play games. And like you say, I'm sure there's people out there who feel comfortable enough to talk to the opponent differently to try and get them to concede against.
I think as a TO, you've got to have a certain type of personality. I think so, you need to have kind of the good interpersonal skills to be able to kind of diffuse some of those situations.
De-escalation, exactly.
De-escalation.
Don't let things get worse. Like
and you don't want to get people riled up. You want your people that are there to have a good time. You're not there to kind of make people miserable or anything. But also you need to have that to be able to kind of stand your ground. And if people are kind of pushing your buttons a little bit, or kind of if you make a call that isn't going their way, you need to stand by the call that you've made, and not, if they kind of try and intimidate you in some sort of way. Not that it happens a lot, but obviously some people kind of stamp their feet a little bit, don't they? And throw their weight around a little bit. You need to have that kind of ability to just say, no, actually, I've made a call, and my call stands.
And that's it. I think I learned a lot. I've learned a lot. This is my 7th one now, and I'm a very different TO to how I was in the first one. I'm less likely to get bullied or intimidated by people. I'm less likely. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm also more likely to penalise people now. I'm still very lenient. I've not yet given a yellow card, but I've been on the fence now, I would say, a couple of times. Now, we are talking. I've made like 3 or 4 hard rulings in 6 tournaments with 64 players playing 5 games each. So what is that, like 300 games a tournament times 6?
Yeah.
Like in 1,800 games, I've probably played like 4 decisions that I can think about that were like difficult ones, and maybe 2 awkward interactions where I wanted to give someone a card. Do you know what I mean? That's it. In like 1,800 games, whatever I just said. That's like nothing. So it's not even a percent. Like, it's nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So for how we've spoken about this, I feel like we've been a little bit negative, but it's not.
But I think
it's truthful.
I think as people, you tend to focus on those negatives a little bit more, don't you, as well? So, and you kind of remember those negative interactions when you kind of forget some of the more positive interactions and things that I've had. So we've talked about the negative. What's your favourite thing about hosting tournaments?
I really like here, particularly, we get a lot of like new people coming in to an event, right? So when my first event, half the field had never played a 40k tournament before, and it's intimidating, it's scary, right? Competitive, WTC, ITC, scoring, whatever.
But for a lot of people, it's the only opportunity you're going to get to play a lot of 40k over 5 games over 2 days. Do you know what I mean?
I don't play 5 games in a year, so going to a tournament is 5 games, and that's like I'm 40k'd out. Then I'm tired, but I'm good, and it's game 4 you're like, a bit tired now. Game 5 I'm ready for bed. But that's okay. But it's good fun, and you get to meet a lot of different people, and everybody is there for a good time. Everybody is. Their idea of a good time might be slightly different to yours, but everybody is there for a good time.
Yeah, of course. Nobody's going there to be miserable, are they? Do you know what I mean? Everyone is. Do you know what I love about Ardicon in particular is I feel like I'm properly shilling for the event, but
God, you love Ardicon. We're meant to be shilling my event, not your event.
You've shilled your event enough. But what I love about Ardicon is like it's very much like literally about 50% of people come from overseas, and then 50% of kind of like from the UK. So you've got this massive mix of people. So people come from the States, people come from there was a team from Australia that came this year, which was amazing. I don't think we had anybody from New Zealand. No, we did have a couple of people from New Zealand actually. I'm pretty sure. But there's people from like literally all over the world. And then the other thing that I love as well is just getting to catch up with people that have that you've met online or something, or you've chatted to on Facebook groups and things, and you recognise the names, and it's just like nice to be able to kind of speak to those people that you kind of know from across the from not just from across the world, but from within the community sort of thing. And it's just when I first started attending events, and it was the Middle Earth community was a lot smaller when I first started attending events, so it was, and there was a lot of recognised names there, so it was just nice to be able to sort of start networking and speaking to those people that you'd spoken to online a fair bit or interacted with at least. So yeah, it's
for me it's the community, right? It's
the community aspect of it is massive.
It's the beers on the Saturday night I really like, and everyone's having a good time and everyone's chilling, and everyone, do you know what I mean? And like, it's nice to see that you've like done this thing to bring all these people together. And there's so many friendship groups now who might only meet up, whatever, someone from Northern Ireland and Cork, and they meet in the middle and they go, we're playing the event together. Yeah, you come down, yeah, I come down. And they all know each other, but they don't see each other more than one. Oh no, the hand thing.
Stop gesticulating.
They go. And they know each stupid camera. Stupid modern camera. And yeah, they all know each other and they don't get to meet up often. So normally someone goes like, right, let's get a table booking in for dinner, and there's like 30 go in for dinner, and they all just sit there and have that. Do you know what I mean? It's a nice weekend. It's a weekend away. This
event that I've got on Saturday, there's like a massive group going to the Toby Carvery on the Saturday night.
Me feel bad now.
I know. Like you could be coming for a Toby Carvery on Saturday night, but you've got best things to do, like spend time with your family and shit.
Oh, put that kid to bed. Yeah,
put your child to bed and run your own shop.
I'd rather send him to the Toby Carvery and have a weekend away. But no, but that's it. It's that.
That's gonna be cool. Like there's loads of people going, and there's people I'm really looking forward to catching up with. Like Jamie, my new doubles partner, who I've replaced you
Jamie.
with. It's I hate Uncle Jamie. What film's that from? Have you frozen?
No, I'm thinking.
I hate Uncle Jamie. I hate Uncle Jamie. It's from Love Actually at the end when he's like literally turns up with Christmas presents and then disappears to go and see his Portuguese girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
that's right.
Slightly off topic there, but yeah, Jamie, you hate Uncle Jamie. But yeah, I'm looking forward to catching up with Jamie, and like there's David Clubley who's running the event. Looking forward to seeing him. So yeah, it's just going to be nice to see people, and
that's the good bit, right? It's that, and it is like, it's hard work, but it is rewarding at the end. Now, there's no one there to say like, there's no one, I'm proud of you, Dad. Like,
no, exactly. And the thing is that you don't get me wrong, you get a few people that say sort of thank you and things, but it does feel like quite a thankless task at times, because
and you're doing the awards. I'm at the end, I'm like, where's my award? So like, do you know what I mean? Like, I deserve an award. Like, you're going every prizes and shit. Where's my prize? See you next year. Do you know what I mean? But it's good, and it's good fun, and I enjoy all that part, and I enjoy the social aspect as well, because I don't get to see that many people all the time where I am, right? I just, I live in the west of Ireland, so it's good. I've made good friends that way, and I think everyone else gets to meet people, and they go, "Oh, you're from wherever? Oh, I'm from near there. Oh, I play at this club," and then they all hang out more. So it's kind of cool to be that, and it's very much the same. Now I know we've only spoken about big events, but like just from my side, like I also run events at the shop, right? So much smaller scale, much like we're talking 8 people maybe. and even that like requires organization, still timing, still have to get lists up. Do you know what I mean? Now, these aren't like competitive stuff. It's normally pretty chill. But it's still have to organize shit. You still have to get all the tables out. You still have to get people going, right, come on, you're being slow, you bastards. Right, we're not going to get 3 games today. You'll get 2 in, but that's fine. So I mean, but it also requires work. But it's the same thing again. It's the community, right? It's the same with the shop. It's the community. That's like sounds bullshitty, and it does sound like I'm saying the word community in a good way. But that is not. I love my community.
If you love your community so much, why didn't you marry it?
Yeah. Why don't you go marry what's his name? Your new doubles partner,
Jamie.
His name.
Maybe I will.
I hate Uncle Jamie.
I hate Uncle Jamie.
So yeah, it's that. So it is that, and it is rewarding at the end. And I'm looking forward to another 8 events time when I've finally broken even.
Finally, maybe making some money off it.
So let's look at 2029 as a scope for that one. That'll be good fun.
Story of your life, really, isn't it? It's a bit like this podcast. It's like maybe when we reach episode 30, we may break even.
I'm looking forward to 2029 when we're still doing the podcasts and we've got 986 subscribers. If you guys could just hit subscribe. I know we've been listening for 9 years.
If it gets to that point, I think we might quit.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think is quit point? If we get to 30, having 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to quit.
I think we'd have to quit. I think if we don't get 50 in the next, we've got quite a few to go. What was 18? So we've got like another 12 to go. Yeah,
baby D-Day basically.
Yeah, it will be about kind of baby D-Day. So I think we'll kind of see where it sits. I'd like to think that we'd get to about 1,000 subscribers by then.
I suppose if either of us ever put any videos out on our channels, maybe we could promote it a little bit more.
I know, but maybe
worse than I am. When's your last video? Like 1998 or something?
Yeah, probably. I was a child when I put my last video out. It was I did 2 back to back, like just before Christmas, and then I got fatigued and
done too much videoing now.
No, I've got a few bits like half filmed, but it's just the effort of.
Did you magnets in the end? I forget now.
Magnets went out. I've got page stripping video.
That was annoying. Magnets went out and people just slagged you off. So that's
exactly. That didn't help. So yeah, like when we do the YouTube episode, I'm gonna let rip about fucking cunts online. Pardon my language for you, or those of you that are offended. But yeah, I think the C word needs to be dropped there because there are some absolute bellends online that I fucking hate.
But it's the same again. You only remember the negative stuff, right? Like you get people send you nice messages, being like, you really like helped my week or whatever. But you go, no, I don't listen to you. So,
exactly.
Big John 69 likes to tell me I've got shit hair. Well, fuck you, Big John.
You look cross-eyed at 1 minute and 26 seconds in. It's like, thanks for that. Yeah.
I remember getting called ugly in Spanish once. Someone left a message in Spanish. I was like, I'll convert that in translator. You ugly bastard. Oh, thanks. So, which I translated that one now.
The thing is, you went into so much effort to translate it.
I was hoping they would say, I think, thanks so much for the nice video. Really appreciate it.
Like, no, you're
really ugly or something. Get your face further away from the camera and stuff like that. They used to say that. They're like, oh, you're so close to the camera, I could smell your breath. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
Because it's just going to sit like this sometimes.
Like,
I don't do that anymore.
Do it. Do the face.
It's a bit like giving birth, right?
Amazing.
Oh no, it's gone mental. It's gone. There you go.
It doesn't know what you're doing anymore. Anyway,
I think we're finished with tournaments now. Basically, if you want to be a CEO, don't bother because it's awful and it's thankless, and everyone just slags you off.
No. It's being a TO. It's fun. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Like at the end of it, you're like, I ran that event and it was a good event and it went smoothly and I enjoy that. I love that feeling. If I had more time, if I had like weekends that I could dedicate to it, which I just don't at the moment. I prefer to spend my time with my family and
Don't lie. You prefer spending time in your shed, avoiding your family like the rest of us.
Well, yeah, there is that. But if I have not got the excuse to kind of go away for full weekends particularly often anymore. So I think I would prefer to play in a tournament maybe than host my own.
100%.
But
imagine being the person who chooses to have a beer, roll some dice, rather than the one who's got to like tell people off.
yeah, and tidy everything up at the end of the event.
Yeah. Everyone's like, right, see you later, mate. And I'm like, the detritus. Like, do you mind just and then the venue's like, do you mind just like clearing any bottles and that around? I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's why you have staff. And that's the one advantage in a hotel. You say, look, will you clear that up? Because I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it is good fun. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm nervous because it's a big move for me. New venue, doubling the size, trying to like up things up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I've got sponsors now. I've got like Warmag are on as official sponsors. Siege Scenics are official sponsors now.
Yeah, that's
moving
exciting.
forwards. So a lot of stuff like that. I've got a few like, hopefully a couple of reasonable, a couple of folks that people will know coming along for the first time. So I want to make sure it's good for them. And, there's a lot of pressure on. I'm trying to, currently my current battle is negotiating room rates with a greedy hotel. So, and that's always an issue. So yeah, I want to make things as cheap, easy and affordable in a nice venue for people. I think it's a different event. If you want, if you want the sports hall kind of thing, then we're probably not the event. If you want like a sweet weekend away and you want to bring your partner or something or whatever and just have a real nice time. And
they can have a spa weekend. You can roll some dice.
Yeah, and then have dinner in the evening together. That's it's perfect for that. So it will be great fun, and it is, and I'm looking forward to it. And I might go into this one. I might just become like a power mad TO and just rule everything. I'm going to become
swing your dick around a little bit.
Yeah, the one ring to rule them all, the one dick to rule them all. That'd be me going around going, excuse me, I've got a Necron warrior. No, you're wrong. And then just like make wrong decisions everywhere just for a laugh and see what people do.
Yeah.
Destroy my event.
That's a great way to encourage people to come next year, isn't it?
They're like, oh, that guy was mental. Yeah, it's me walking around the station. You're right to smashing people's models. That's a 3D print. Gone. That's not even painted. Gone. You know what you're talking about. Gone.
Do you get unpainted models at your tournaments?
No, we have a strict 3 paint minimum now.
All right, fair enough.
Not to say, there aren't a few borderline cases, as is always the way. We've all been there, right? Oh God, night before going, right, what's the third colour? Black. Let's put black on it.
Yeah. The undercoat, the undercoat is black. It's fine.
yeah, exactly. Undercoat's red, bit of black, bit of metal, 3 colours. Well, get the occasional one of those, but more often than not, most people put the effort in.
It's all good.
To do it, so.
It's all good.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. So if you are out there and you're looking for a big event, April the 26th and 27th in Castlebar, Brafey House Hotel. You can fly into Knock for pretty cheap for around England. Come on down. I'll be there. Keel will be there. Benji won't be there, so even better. And, come and like have a nice event. I think is kind of the story. And
next year I might try and come. This year it's just pretty poorly timed for me. But yeah, next year I might
be running a little Lord of the Rings event on the side.
Yeah, I think we talked about that kind of previously. So like have a little event going on, my own little event there. So but yeah, make sure you go and check out. So we'll put the link to the tickets down in the description. So if you do want to go and check out the event for yourselves, then the links will be there. Is the tournament pack and things available now?
Yeah, the event pack, venue pack, the tournament pack is pretty standard, but I'm just trying to refine what missions I want in particular to kind of fall in line a bit more with sort of the larger events now. So, but yes, it's pretty much, if you played a tournament, it's that. Do you know what I mean? It's 5 games. So yeah, do check that out. It'd be good fun. Benji, I guess we'll leave it there because we're meant to do a short one, but it's like midnight now.
It's midnight.
I was up since 5 o'clock with the stupid babies. How'd that happen? So, yes, as always, thank you everybody for listening. If you want to support the channel, we've plugged it enough. Probably I won't even bother plugging it. No, do hit the subscribe, like, share, get a Patreon. Benji needs money. I need a new headphone still. Look, I've not even bought one. That falls out. So look at that. That's in my ear. That's good, isn't it?
And your microphone, every time you touch it, it kind of switches itself off as well. So
and also if I do this,
that's not good. Yeah, but that's because you got a fancy camera. You spent microphone and headphone money on a camera. That's your problem.
They sent it to Kira for free, so it's fine.
All right, okay, fair enough.
So yes, make sure to support the channel. I will be watching you. So do all the usual stuff. Benji, you finish it now. I don't know what to say anymore.
Thanks for watching, guys. And next episode, we are going to have Ollie's brother on. We're going to be talking about 90s nostalgia type stuff. So if that kind of floats your boat, then make sure that you join in. On that note, we will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.